Welcome back, league mates and listeners. We are co-hosts Dayne and AJ, and we are back with another Pigskin Pals podcast. Some huge NFL news has been going down. It feels like the trade deadline right now. Just trades coming in left and right.
True.
We got the Adams trade. We have the Amari Cooper trade, and we got the Cam Akers trade. Packers signed a new kicker. So we'll be talking all about trades. We have a couple trades in our league too that we're going to be going over, but we're going to be talking all about the fantasy values of these players and all the fallout. Make sure to sack that like and subscribe buttons like it's Dak Prescott, and we're going to need a whole ton of you to sack those like and subscribe buttons if it's like Dak Prescott, because they got demolished last week. We can talk all about that too when we hop into it, but let's get stuck right into it. Biggest news, we have the Davante Adams and the Amari Cooper trade, but I'll open the door for you first. Do you have anything you want to get off that chest after that rough week, or how you feeling?
I mean, nothing crazy. I think since, other than week one, when we steamrolled Cleveland, which seems like everyone can do, ever since then I haven't really thought that the Cowboys were any good. I've been very vocal in saying I think they're not very good, and I think I'm unfortunately very correct in that they kind of suck. Their defense, they were missing like 6 people on defense, whatever. I don't think that really matters. They don't have Micah, they don't have Tank, they don't have Kalen Carson, they didn't have Deron Bland, didn't have a lot of guys. Either way, they're still going to get demolished. The offense just doesn't have enough weapons, I don't think. Especially with Cooks out, no one can separate and give Dak a clean look. And also, I don't know if you saw a picture on Dak's second pick, the one he overthrew in the middle. Did you see what he was looking at?
No. I mean,
so
it was pretty tough to watch that game.
That's fair. Well, you wouldn't have seen it in game. It was after. The way that the Cowboy Stadium is, at these like midday games, the sun literally is directly in your face. He threw it into the sun, basically. Like, I don't know why he tried throwing the ball, if I'm being honest, because he couldn't see what he was throwing at, but he threw it anyway. So that's kind of what happened there, I think. He's like, fuck it, he's down there somewhere. Just a little far. Anyway.
Yeah, I was in the car, but I caught the end of that game, and yeah, I do remember seeing that sun, and I was like, this is how many $1 billion stadium? Like, what were they thinking for these 3 o'clock games to have this
bad.
going on?
It's bad. It's been a problem for a couple years at this point, but yeah, it's
shades.
Bad. Yeah, you get some shades indeed. I was going to say something else. I don't know. It probably doesn't matter.
You're saying it was bad.
I've been saying to people who ask about the Cowboys, I've been saying that they're going to lose their next 4 games after this bye week. So that's my prediction.
How many? 4 more games after this.
4 straight games. 4 straight games. They're going to go 0-4 in their next 4 games. So
might as well
buckle up. It's going to be a salty me coming up
here. Can you do parlays in the future like that? You might as well get a bookie and get onto that.
Yeah, dude, get on that.
Then any win will feel good.
Yeah, true.
It'll be bittersweet. My coworker, AJ, he actually went to Dallas for the game. So at least you didn't have that going for you of being excited to watch your team and then just get shit on.
Get demolished. Yeah, it was
24/7. It reminded me kind of, at least the box score looked like the Packers playoff game. And speaking of the Pack, man, are we heating up? How many likes do we have to get for you to convert to a Packer fan?
Not gonna happen. Just bouncing off that though, I saw some crazy stat. It's like their last 4 home games, which includes the Packer loss in last playoffs, they've given up like almost 200 points, which is redonkulous because over the past like 2 seasons at home, they'd given up less than that combined. Yeah, it's good.
Do you think your fans are falling off? I mean, listening to the game, it sounded like it was a Lions home game almost.
Well, and what do you expect from your fans when you're losing by 28 in the first quarter? There were boos raining down as they should. I remember, it's the same as every other stadium. If you start losing by 28 and you can't get more than 20 yards on a drive, you're going to get booed. That's just the way it goes.
Not the Packers.
That's not true. I was literally going to say, if you say this, I've been to a Packer game where they were down by a lot and I heard boos raining down, so don't be saying that.
Okay, so with 2 of the top trade candidate receivers off the table, we can start talking about that, or I'm also kind of curious, who are you hoping for that the Cowboys trade for before the dedeadline to get some more help on weapons if they think they can still win this year and compete?
I mean, the only person I thought that might get traded or we might trade for would have been Amari Cooper, just because of the nature of the situation. He's played there before, could be a nice little reunion, need a little help in the wide receiver position. After both of these guys are gone, I don't really know who's even left that is like on the trade block.
Well, and they just added one person. Mike Williams is on the trade block now.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm good. But here, what I will say is today, Jerry Jones said that they're not going to be active at the trade deadline, so don't expect anything.
Maybe before.
Very good.
Maybe before.
Yeah, who knows?
But yeah, I can't really think of anyone off the top of my mind that I would want.
What I would say is the Bills just with Amari Cooper signing, they just dropped MVS. I would take MVS as a signing for the Cowboys just to stretch the field.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you really only have Turpin to kind of do that.
Yeah.
He's kind of small too,
and he just does gadget stuff for the most part, honestly. But he is the guy that stretches it.
I was thinking maybe if like the Broncos kept losing, Sutton would kind of be
it could be okay. Like he would,
nice
obviously better than everyone else we have.
Yeah, I don't even know like what kind of receiver would pair well with CD. I'm guessing
Doesn't
kind of
matter.
like that vertical threat, jump ball, physical type player.
Yeah.
But okay, well then we can talk about Davante and Amari Cooper. The Davante one came in first, so we can talk all about that. And we just had Monday Night Football where we watched. It was actually a really good game. I loved watching that. The Hail Mary, that was a great success. We had a trade go down in our fantasy league right before the game where Sam traded a third-round pick, I believe, a 2025 third-round pick for Ray Davis, and he won him the week. He's able to get that. Unfortunate for Ryan, who... Our best listener, by the way. Shout out Ryan. True. Always leaving comments.
He needed to. I'll preface. I just want to give a little context. He needed it. Won him the week because he is a James Cook owner, and James Cook was a late scratch basically. So he needed to make a quick thing. He got a trade done pretty quick. Actually, I was surprised that it actually got done just because the nature of our trades in our league, they normally take a little bit. But got it done so he could play Ray Davis and win. He had to drop some AJ Ryan as well.
Yeah.
Who cares?
And overall, it was a better game for the Jets, I thought, because it was interesting going in because they just fired Saleh. They had some new motivation, it looked like. Their offense was kind of clicking more. Breece was getting a lot more touches, and Wilson and Lazard both had really good games. I mean, Lazard's big one came from that 52-yard Hail Mary, but now things are going to be a lot different with Davante coming to town. It looks like he's going to be playing right away. That hammy was always okay, I believe.
Magically okay, yeah.
I guess, how do you see things shaking out long term with this acquisition?
I mean, I think that Davante, his production won't be like, he's not going to become that elite guy again. Like, it's just not how it's going to work. He'll be good. I think like they could both average like a solid 15 points a game, honestly. And that the rest of that receiving core, Lazard's probably gone at this point. Mike Williams is irrelevant. Tight end has never really been involved. I think these two probably just garner every target almost. So they're going to both be perfectly fine. I wouldn't go as far as to say it's going to help Garrett Wilson because he's not going to be the target hog that he's been. Like, he's been just like being thrown at and thrown at and thrown at and thrown at. He won't be that anymore, but I think his touches will be a little bit more efficient because he's not necessarily double covered or like with the top corner or anything like that. So I think he might get more points per touch as opposed to just peppered with targets.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily, I'm more on the side where this isn't totally going to affect Garrett Wilson. Like, yes, his targets are going to go down, but I'm not going to adjust him in my rankings because I think the quantity, yes, that's going to go down, but the quality of his targets are going to be much higher. So I think it's just going to kind of stay level.
Fully agree.
And yeah, I think Davante, obviously, he's going to be way better than his value was at the Raiders. I don't think it's going to be anywhere close to where it was with the Packers. I mean, we'll see. Like, if he goes out for 150 and 2 touchdowns like this first week with them, it's going to be like, holy, man. Okay, we're going to have to really adjust our perception on this, but I think it's going to be kind of more still spread out, I think, because I don't think that trust with Lazard is going to go away. Lazard's going to stay on the field too, I think, with just like his blocking skill set. So he's going to get like those 3 or 4 targets a game and 40 yards. How do you feel about Breece? Better, worse?
I think it really doesn't affect Breece all that much in general. I think he'll just continue kind of with how he's been. Maybe it opens up a little bit more for him, but I highly doubt that's the case. And he's been splitting more time with Braylon than people would have liked anyway. So I think kind of where he's at is where he's at almost.
I'm a little worried about the goal line usage because just watching so many Packer games, like you'd be on the goal line, we'd have AJ Dillon back there. Yeah, he's not Breece Hall, but we'd also have Aaron Jones. We wouldn't really use him in the goal line. It would just be a 1-yard fade to Davante all the time. So I'm curious how their red zone offense kind of changes because I think they've been struggling in that too. They've just been middle of the pack with that. So maybe that will kind of change touchdowns for Breece also.
But sure.
Aaron Rodgers, his value's going up for sure.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's probably like it's up a little bit for
really
this year
good
for
streamer,
sure.
I think, right now.
Yeah. Like I'd agree, but like in Dynasty, I'm not like itching to get my hands on some
I'm
Aaron
thinking
Rodgers.
redraft.
You know what I mean?
Redraft.
Like, yeah. Redraft perfectly fine. Like if you had been streaming him, he's probably going to become a guy that you can maybe play most weeks at this point, depending on matchup, I guess. But yeah, he'll be a good streamer for sure. Especially if he's starting to. I mean, it's so hard because he's had his up and down games, right? He hasn't been very consistent. Like he's looked really bad one game, and he's looked like exactly like Aaron Rodgers the next game. So it's kind of hard to tell.
All right, you want to talk about the next trade?
I forgot who got traded. I'll be done. Oh, Amari Cooper. That's the next one. Moving on, we'll talk about the other big trade that went through in the wide receiver space, I guess in the NFL space in general, which was Amari Cooper to the Bills. I thought it was funny that both teams that played on Monday night were like, yeah, we need to switch something up here, and just made a trade immediately. It's like, wow, that's pretty fun. I'm a little bit disappointed. We kind of touched on it a little bit, because I wanted the Cowboys to get Amari, but I think it's a nice fit for Amari, and it's going to help Josh a bit.
What I'm really excited for is their next matchup, because I believe they only played once, right? Yeah, they play in week 17 again.
Nice.
So that'll be kind of
might be for something. You know what I mean? It might be like an important game.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I wish they played sooner. I wish they played like in 2 weeks. That would have been really cool.
That would be crazy.
Yes, Amari Cooper is going to the Bills. I don't really know how to think about this because it doesn't seem like the Bills have had any problems. Like their offense has been cruising. It's not been necessarily through the air in most games. Like I think they've been really hitting their stride as a running team. Like this can't hurt their offense, I don't think.
No.
Like I think Cooper's always been that streaky player, and I think he's going to continue to be that streaky player. And that's kind of what we've seen from Bills players already this season too.
Yeah, I think maybe what the Bills were looking for is Amari Cooper's been like streaky fantasy wise.
Mm-hmm.
I think they were looking for like just a consistent veteran wide receiver that they can trust for the most part, that they know kind of knows what's up, has experience. The other guy, they're like for the most part, like they have Curtis Samuel, but that's not the guy.
Like?
That's not the guy. Who? Stephon Diggs or something?
Yeah, Stephon Diggs. It sounds like they should have kept Stephon Diggs.
Amari Cooper is like the opposite personality wise of Stephon Diggs, so I think
he's more like Romeo Dobbs.
Yeah. So I don't know. I think Cooper will probably be a bit better than he's been just because the offense is better, so he'll have more chances to score. He'll probably have more quality targets playing with a better quarterback. That being said, with his age, and he hasn't looked exceptionally great this year, I don't think he's going to like all of a sudden become a stud. But I think he'll be like a nice little flex play every week.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't really listening because I was thinking of this new scale that I came up with.
Oh, yeah. I like it. Let's hear it.
Where would you rank Amari Cooper on a scale of the personality spectrum for receivers to Antonio Brown?
Man,
I feel like that's gonna need to be our scale. Or
that
Dobbs
is
just the I mean,
he's
most
way towards the
gelled dude, and then there's AB way up there.
He's so like, far on the Dobbs side.
Yeah, but I would say he's like a 1 or 2. Like if it's out of 10, like he's a 1 or 2. Dobbs.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like an equivalent player, but I can't think of one right now. Like a low energy like player to compare him to. That's not Dobbs, but I don't know. It's probably just what I bet two is now. Two on the scale is just now Amari Cooper. So there we go.
Yeah, there we go. We'll slowly build the full scale up, and we'll get closer and closer. I think Diggs might be the 9 right there next to
maybe.
AB.
George Pickens, I feel like could get up there too for real.
Yeah, but he's just all in it for the game. He's like, I'll block. He's a 5. He's perfect. Where he's kind of crazy, but he knows what's best for the team.
I put him closer to a 6, maybe.
He's not a diva though.
He's kind of a diva,
but like asking for targets and like.
No, I mean it's like not full diva, but like kind of diva.
Okay.
That's why I think 6. I guess just while we're on this, the Steelers, you're talking about George Pickens. Who do you think should start for the Steelers?
George Pickens.
Right now there's reports that it's going to be Russ here.
George Pickens is a 14 on this scale. I forgot about Pickens.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's good for us. We co-manage our dynasty team, and we just got a potential 3rd quarterback that we can start. I think they should just stick with Fields. They're 4-2 with Fields. I think Fields has all like the way better athletic traits. Like I think it can get messy too. Obviously, I've never coached a team, but I feel like it would get messy just switching quarterbacks up. Like you're messing with the mojo in the locker room and everything. Yep. Like there's so many different pieces that go into like the starting quarterback where I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe, Russ has more experience and can throw the ball a tiny bit better, but I would stick with Fields where you're at.
Yeah, the way I don't remember what TV personality, maybe it was a former player, I don't remember who it was, but basically said like at this point it's like stick with Fields until he gives you a reason to switch to Russ. Like there's no need to switch up what's working right now until Fields like loses a game for you or like starts becoming really inefficient or throwing a lot of picks, like there's no point in changing it right now.
Okay, rounding out these trades. So we had Adams going to the Jets. We have Cooper going to the Bills. This is gonna help Adams. This is kind of gonna stay the same for Garrett. Maybe lowered a little. Maybe a little lower for Breece. Those are my takes, and raise it for Rodgers. But then you can touch on that, and then also what is going to happen to the value on the side of the Cooper trade.
So I think for the most part, what you said with the Jets, I agree. Did you say lower Breece or no? I couldn't remember.
Yeah, slightly, just because of that red zone work.
I think I'll keep Breece the same. I don't think he's really going to change all that much. Like not anything relevant. As for the Bills side, I think Amari Cooper gets a bump. Nothing major, but a bump, just maybe a little bit more consistent, which is
at
weird.
least can have a quarterback to have him have these boom weeks.
Yep. Josh Allen, I don't think changes all that much. I don't think Amari Cooper is like a game-changing wide receiver where he's going to like boost his passing numbers or the offense all that much. So I think maybe a little bump to Josh, but probably just very similar.
It's not going to hurt him at all.
Yeah, no. I don't think the running game will change. So I think honestly, James Cook or Ray Davis, whoever it is perfectly fine. Maybe a bump even because maybe the offense better. Maybe the offense better. So
open some more holes.
Yeah, and then only dips I could see. It's going to be whichever receiver. I don't know who they like the least. Khalil Shakir, Keon Coleman.
I think you can drop Curtis Samuel now.
I think you can drop Keon Coleman, Curtis Samuel for sure. I think Khalil Shakir is maybe the only keepable one.
Yeah.
From those guys, just because he seems a little bit have like a better rapport with Josh and a little bit more consistent.
I'm kind of hopeful that it helps Kincaid now. Because we kind of saw him as maybe like the focal point of the passing offense, and he wasn't like a standout by any means. Like he's not like Bowers where he's kind of standing out with a lesser quarterback. So maybe having him as like the second option might help him a little bit.
Yeah,
we'll see. And then on the Browns side, and Raiders side, like it really just like I feel like it just makes it more messy. Like I think Bowers, it's gonna be nice for him. I think it's just like a positive for the tight ends, honestly. Like I don't really want to think about the receivers.
Maybe once he gets healthy, could see a couple more targets, but it's not like he's good enough where he's gonna take over and like be this stud. I think he'll probably get a little bump in usage, but nothing crazy. Same thing with Cleveland. Jerry Jeudy probably gets a little bump, but like he was already seeing a good amount of work anyway. So I feel like it's not going to be too much different. I think you're right with like Njoku and Bowers probably are the main two regression things that could happen there.
Weeks I meant. But yeah, the past 2 weeks have been really bad for Jeudy. So hopefully now he's going to probably have to see like at least 5 targets a game.
Yeah.
So I think he's definitely flexible now going forward. Agreed. See what happens. But just sounds like wins overall. All around, honestly, just wins. So no one's really hurting besides MVS. He's punching the air.
MVS is pissed. He lost his job. But that is it for our trade episode, if that's what we want to call it. We appreciate you all watching. Don't forget to sack that like and subscribe button. I'll join in like it's Dak Prescott because they're bums. And we'll see you next time. Peace out.
Doses.